Hey, what's going on? It's Jason Lucchese, and welcome back to the YouTube channel, my friends. I am so excited that you are here with us. We're going to be sharing some amazing content for you today, especially with everything going on in the world. We've got some amazing stuff that we're going to be talking about that you could take advantage of right now. But before we get into that, I also want to introduce to you Mr. Michael Bredhauer. He is here in the studio, aka my home office. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. How's everybody doing today? Excited to be here. We actually haven't done a video in a while, if I'm remembering correctly.
That is true, Mike. And just in case you were wondering, everybody out there, Mike is standing up right now. So, Mike, how is it going for you right now, standing up?
Feels great up here, Jason. Way down there. How are things doing?
I'm feeling really good right here. Today was leg day, so I do not want to be standing right now, or else my legs would shake and I would fall.
Well, today's standing day for me, so here I am standing. I'm glad we're talking about this, though. It's really great. Wasting a few minutes talking about me standing. Awesome stuff.
All right, well, hey, let's hop into it, because a lot of you, especially when I did the live video not too long ago on probates, a lot of you were asking about the list that I would be getting for landlords. And right now, they just passed another eviction moratorium, and they also did another deal within Congress to give an additional 12 months on not evicting folks. So this could pose a very big problem for landlords, and also the individuals are going to be getting additional cash once this potential bill passes. So once this happens, these folks are going to be getting cash, but they're not going to be paying, well, some folks, I'm not going to say all, but some folks aren't going to be paying their landlord their rent. And the landlord can't do anything for 12 months. So this is going to pose a problem. Don't you see this kind of being an issue for a lot of landlords that, maybe they have a mortgage on the property. That mortgage has to be paid, or else the property goes into foreclosure.
It's a question we've been getting a lot lately, just because of everything that's been going on with the pandemic, or whatever you want to call it out there. Basically, with everything getting a hold on it, people have been reaching out and asking, getting involved with us, either our students or people that have been inquiring about our training and asking, hey, what's going on here with this moratorium on banks and landlords? It seems like there's not going to be an end to folks not having to pay rent and not having to pay their mortgages. But you and I both know that's not how it's going to work out.
Yeah, and unfortunately, not everybody pays cash for their rental properties. They get private money, they get hard money, they get bank financing. And once you go to that extreme of not being able to pay because you're not receiving your rent, well, you're going to go into pre-foreclosure. And if you don't get anything settled at that point, you're going to go to foreclosure and you're going to lose that property. And what does that do for the people that are living inside? Well, they're all going to have to get booted out as well, due to if the house goes to foreclosure. So everybody is losing in that particular case. If you're going to be receiving funds from the government, you need to pay your bills. But that's just me. I could be completely different on that. What about you, Mike? What's your take on that?
Well, think about this, Jason. Think about this back in 2008, 2009, 2010, where there wasn't these huge stimulus packages that people were getting this additional help. And eventually the well is going to run dry, and you are going to be responsible. All those bills, even with stimulus packages, that money's still going to be due. It doesn't matter how much handouts you get.
Yeah, that's true. And that's going to unfortunately be, for some folks, that's going to be what's going to happen. That's going to be the outcome. But one of the things that I wanted to reach out and talk to you about in today's video is how you could start reaching out to those folks to at least give them some sort of assistance, give them help, because they're not going to be receiving any help. The only people that are going to be getting some help right now are the tenants that aren't paying. So if you're working, if you're in a position to where you're also receiving stimulus money and, you're able to put food on the table, everything's good to go, but you're not paying your landlord, there's something wrong there, in my opinion. Now, these landlords are going to need assistance. They're going to need help, especially if they're in a position to where they owe money on the property through a mortgage, and maybe they're just barely surviving just with the rent that's coming through. Maybe they didn't do their numbers well. There's a lot of tired landlords out there right now. So as I'm going in here, I'm going to show you a really cool trick here that you can use for a site called ListSource. Mike and I use it for gathering all types of data. And it's going to be extremely helpful for you on being able to find the right types of landlords. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into ListSource. Mike, is there anything that you wanted to also add?
Yeah, I'd like to point out that, not all landlords are, like these savvy investors that have a whole bunch of property. Every once in a while, it's a landlord that has a rental property and they manage it the best they can. And when they end up in a situation like this, where maybe they didn't even want to be a landlord, maybe they just got handed this property, push come to shove, they just rented it out, became a landlord. Now they're on the hook for this property that is, the person that who's living there is not paying them. They owe money to the bank or taxes or whatever it is. That's not getting paid because they're not collecting rent. So you really are helping out somebody. When you talk about assisting, Jason, when you say that word, you're reaching out and helping somebody who might not have wanted to have been a landlord in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. And as we hop in here, I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do here from a step-by-step format for being able to find these types of landlords. If you've seen me do this from a cash buyer standpoint, it doesn't really vary too much. And you're going to see here as we hop in. So I'm going to go here to build a list. And as I go to build a list, I'm going to be able to start putting in my criteria. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to city. I'm going to select my state. And as I do that, I'm going to pull up the areas that I want to be doing business in. So it's going to select a state. And actually what I'm going to do is change this up just slightly from the video that I did. I'm going to do county instead. And then I'm going to go to my state because that makes it a lot easier instead of selecting multiple cities. So the area that we're going to look for is Marion County. That's where we do a lot of our business at. And then what I'm going to come over here to is I'm going to look at the property type. And I'm going to scroll down here. So it's got property type. And then I'm going to basically select all the properties that I'm interested in. So I'm going to select townhouse, multifamily, mobile home, duplex, triplex, apartment, quad. Now it says residential for apartment, and it's going to go up to 4 units max. So it just depends on how the property was zoned, because some are zoned as a quadruplex, some are zoned as apartments as 4 units. So you could do that a little bit more. I'm not going to do timeshare. I'm not going to do a PUD, which is planned unit development. I will do a condominium. You never know what you're going to come across there. I'm going to stay under here for property type. I'm going to do equity, and then it's the percentage sign. So once I do that, I'm going to want to come over here and I'm going to want to select 91 to 100%. Now, typically what we do from a cash buyer's perspective is we like that to be 99 to 100%. But in this case, I'm going to go after that. I'm going to also go after 81 to 90%. So I'm putting in my perspective, we're going to have some equity in the property. And if you want to build the list a little bit more, you can. Now, next thing that we want to be doing here is we want to do last recording date. Last recording date, or you could also use the last sale date. That's for when the person actually purchased the property. So we're going to go to last sale date. And when I come there, I'm going to just want to check out the last 12 months, because that's essentially, the last 12 months have been, kind of goofy for a lot of folks within, our country, within our world. It's just been, kind of all over the place. So as you can see here, the list is already at 3,195. Now, I would recommend if you wanted to go back just a little bit further, you can go back 2 or 3 years because some folks probably bought 2-3 years ago. Now, what I would also recommend here is you come over here to options, and I'm going to select absentee owned. Now, you can include properties within state, and you could include properties with out of state owners. I'm going to go ahead and have both. Now, I don't want any trustee owned properties, so I'm going to click exclude. And then for corporate owned properties, I'm going to click on no preference. So that's going to bring our list up to 3,111 individuals from a current list standpoint. Now, what you want to do is maybe you don't want to purchase quite yet. We're going to come over here to purchase list. Now, one of the things that I want to show you that you can do, okay, let me go ahead, and it's going to also say save your list and create your ListSource account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my information right here, and I'm going to have my account logged in. So once you already have the information that we just went over, you go ahead and click purchase list. Now you're not going to actually be purchasing this list. So what I want you to do is take a look at this. This is going to help you out quite a bit. Now this is the pricing, $628 if you want to purchase the list of 3,111 individuals. So what you do is you remove duplicate property mailing addresses. That's going to take you down to 1,903. Because here's how it works. And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're talking to a landlord, and let's just say they have multiple properties, what you can do is say, hey, do you have any other properties that you're looking to sell? Any other properties that you have right now that you would like to get rid of? How many times does that come up, Mike? And we actually have people that say, yeah, I have 2-3 properties.
It happens a lot more than you'd think. Just innocent questions, reaching out to somebody, but hey, by any chance, do you have any other properties, or do you know anybody that has any other properties? And there's always 1 out of 10. Well, actually, I do have a couple more that I was thinking about letting go.
Yeah, absolutely. And when that happens, you could start getting your hands onto more deals within. Right now, a lot of people are struggling to find deals. So this is going to open up like a whole bunch more options for you so that you can get more deals. So I would start implementing this strategy right away. And you could also see it cut down to $384.64. Still, it's a decent chunk of change that if you wanted to pay that, you can. Now, you could go in and you could start putting a little bit more criteria on there. So if you wanted to go further back on the day of the sale, that's going to make the list bigger. So if you want it to go down a little bit smaller, you can. One of the other things that you can go into, and I'll show you from a refined search standpoint, you could come on over here and you could take a look at, I'm going to X this off. So the sale date, I'm going to X that off. I'm going to come over here to property again, and I'm going to come over to last market sale date. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely make this custom. So I'm going to put in here 18, then I'm going to put in 19, not 2029, but 2019. And I'm going to put that in there. Now it's going to lower it just a little bit. It's going to lower it by about 300, but we don't know yet what we don't know from a standpoint of, how many of these are duplicates. So same thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to options. It has all of that information already selected. And if you want to make the list a little bit smaller too, you could check this off. It's going to lower it quite a bit to 1,100. So that's going to be a much more doable thing as well, because a lot of these individuals that are out of state definitely right now are going to be much more in the mood to talk to you about if you could purchase their property. So if we come over here to purchase list and we scroll down, and it's $229, and that's before the remove duplicate. So once you do that, you have 451, which is still a really big list. And now we've got it down to $91.17. So if you are watching this video and this is under $100, that is really good. 451 people to call. I would venture to say you're going to get probably anywhere between like a handful of folks that are going to be interested in talking to you about selling their property.
Okay, let's just say out of 451 people, how much is that list?
Right now it's $91.17.
So out of 451 people, and let's say all the odds are against you, every single odd that you could possibly play is working against you, and you can only close one, you can only find one person out of that list. What is the return on that?
It's going to be far surpassed $91.17. Most of the time, on the low end, on a wholesale, you're going to make $14,000 to $16,000. On the high end, it's sky's the limit.
So it sounds like even if you were only able to get a JV out of this, where you had to split this with somebody else, where you made $5,000 to $8,000, it sounds like what you're saying is no matter what, the $90 investment is well worth it.
Oh yeah, it's going to be well worth it. We don't get anything from this. We're not going to get anything from this. We're not affiliates. We don't get referral commissions or anything like that. So we want you guys to succeed. We want to give you the tools that are going to help you out like right now, because right now we're seeing some big things happen from government right now with these moratoriums and, not being able to evict. There's going to be a lot of people out there that are hurting. and they're going to need your help. So right now, this list is under $100. You could go back in, you could find people that may have bought 5 years ago and just find people that bought 5 years ago. You don't have to do exactly what I said. Try and get the list exactly where you want it to. Now, I didn't also put in there some other features that we use. I'm going to go ahead and link up our other video that we used to where I went really detailed on the cash buyer stuff. You could also use some of the stuff in there as well. Now, one of the big things too, Mike, is a lot of these folks could be buying. So if that's the case, we have some of these folks that are wanting to buy additional properties. So if they're not wanting to sell, that's completely fine. But in this case, Mike, how many people have we talked to from a landlord standpoint and they ended up turning out to be cash buyers for us?
Again, this is one of those things that happens more often than you think. I mean, these simple questions, if you simply right now, is this thing on? Is this on? If you go back through and watch, Jason's going to link one of the videos on talking to cash buyers, and Jason Palliser, the other part of the J squared equation, just did a video not too long ago about talking to sellers. So you could watch 3 videos and with $90 investment, go out and buy a really good list of you're going to find more than one. But again, if we're doom and gloom here and we're saying, oh, all odds are against me, the whole world's against me in this, I'm the worst investor in the world. Well, you're going to get 1 out of 450 plus leads. So go out, take those 3 videos and what Jason just said and get a deal.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions about today's video, make sure you drop a comment below. Give us a big thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video. If this content was amazing content for you, you were able to get some gold nuggets from what we were talking about on today's video, especially for the landlords in today's economy. They need help. They need assistance. So make sure we could go out there, work together as a community. Make sure you give us that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. The big thing here is make sure you click on that little notification bell. It gets Mike super excited. If you do,
I love when that bell goes off.
Oh yeah, click on that bell because when you click on that bell, you'll get notified of whenever we put up new videos just like this. And also too, if you have questions, you want to talk a little bit more about this particular strategy, go to 2dayblueprint.com and we'll go ahead and set up a time for you to talk with us and we'll go ahead and chat with you about your business. So again, 2dayblueprint.com. Let us know how we can help you. We'll set up some time. We'll talk to you for about 30 minutes or so and see how we can help you and your business. Mike, any parting words from you?
You know, I'll tell you why I really like when that bell goes off, because when that bell goes off enough times, Jason actually does a little dance. And if it does go off again enough times, I get enough notifications, enough subscribers, I might be able to have my phone just kind of off of my pocket and record him doing his little dance.
Oh yeah, I love dancing, Mike. You definitely got me there. Ooh,
he loves to dance, folks. You'll see from the video.
Yeah, absolutely. I love doing little special dances when you click on that little bell notification. So hey, thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you did, leave us a comment. Make sure you give us a big thumbs up. We will talk to you later. See you on the next video. Take care. Bye now.